Now, our next speaker is Mr. G. Narendra Nath, he is Joint Secretary NSCS, and before uh, joining as a Joint Secretary NSCS, he was working in DOT as a DDG Security, and uh, a lot of work has been carried out in his leadership in the security domain in DOT. Sir, over to you, sir. Now.
Thank you, Mr. Sushil Kumarji. And I think I should thank, of course, I thank CROT and TSDSI for providing me this opportunity. And also thank, speakers that who preceded me. And actually, they covered a lot of area. Especially Mr. Madan gave a very good, comprehensive overview of all the dimensions of IoT and IoT security. And Mr. Sushil Kumar, who has been involved in IoT for quite some time, talked about the 13 principles and the ETSI standard and the consumer IoT, especially for consumer IoT devices, the 13 principles for that. Mr. P.K. Singh had talked about, very systematic presentation on what are IoTs, the dimensions in IoT security, especially talked about the botnets and especially about the Binay botnet and the DNS provider DDoS attack that had happened. Then the evergreen Mr. Sharad Arora, the champion of the IoT cause. Actually, it's always a pleasure to listen to him. The depth of his knowledge, and it is a very good presentation, and he's really been pursuing. And sometimes I feel that doesn't he lose steam, considering the amount of bureaucracy that we generate in the country. It really, the perseverance that he has, and I congratulate him and always look to him, whenever there is something that I ask him for his ear to listen to something and then, contribute to it. And thank you very much. It was a very good presentation. And, whatever you have in mind, I hope that, we as a team that is there in this panel would help in getting all those things on ground and working. Then, the presentation by Ms. Rana Kamil from BT about the 1M, 2M and the great body of work that has happened in security. I mean, anybody who has seen the presentation now would understand, we have been talking of that security and all of that, would actually understand that there's a large amount of work that's happened in this area in terms of standards. And as Mr. Sharad Arora said, and he has said that there's a lot of body of work that's happened in standards, both abroad and in India, both in the standards body abroad and in India. And it's just a question of now, implementing all of that on ground. So with these words, what are those things, that from our office here, what is that, we're looking for in terms of IoT security and all. So when we look at what Mr. P.K. Singh was talking about and the other panel speakers said is, there is a concern regarding security of IoT. And there's also concern that, there's a security that is being affected because of IoT. What Mr. P.K. Singh talked about is about IoT devices being, vectors for attacks. And how do you actually handle that and prevent that from happening? And the other dimensions that has come out is how do you protect IoT devices per se and IoT infrastructure per se? That is another dimension that has come. From our office, one of the things, and this is ad nauseum and in most panels and forums that I've talked about is, there are different dimensions to it, but one of them is the IoT device security that we are very particular about, especially because of the exponential deployment of IoT devices that is happening, and because of the physically disaggregated, spread out way that the IoT devices are deployed, and the problem that you just cannot retrofit those devices once they are deployed. So if for example we wake up after some time and say that these devices are to be secured, we are left with a very big problem that we cannot solve, because it becomes a problem of recalling all these devices and trying to replace all of those devices with secure devices. So this is one that we've been talking for quite some time. And how is it that we realize that it is today that we require secure IoT devices? I find that we have a lot of body of work that has happened in the 1M2M. So what is required is, one, that we should have the security requirement. I mean, classification of devices is one thing that's been talked about. Then the security requirements for those classification of devices, and certification against those requirements, and also regulatory framework to see that only secure IoT devices are actually procured and deployed in the networks. So this is one important, this is one of the first things that we should be talking about. Mr. Sushil Kumar talked about, the labeling scheme that they have started in Singapore. We had a chance to interact with the team there in Singapore in one conference, in the VC conference that we had with them. One of the things that comes out of that is that in India, we have a very robust mechanism for labeling scheme. The MTCT that has come out from the TEC is a scheme that is a labeling scheme. And that is, under that scheme, we should actually start our coming up with security requirements for IoT devices and start a labeling scheme, and ensure that once it comes under the labeling scheme, you will find that only, because the MTCT provides that only devices and equipment that is actually certified under the MTCT only can be sold in the country. Now that itself is a big filter that will provide us the assurance that only secure IoT devices get into the network. So that is very important, that IoT devices are processed through the MTCT scheme and they're coming through that. Has that happened? It has not really happened. I think that's a work that I hope that DoT will do. From our edge, we have a R&D fund for cybersecurity, under which we solicit and we invite projects to be coming. We have what is called a user expert group, and we list out requirements that the user expert group has listed out and send it out to different R&D institutions and academic institutions to come up with project proposals to address those requirements. So one of the requirements that had come out was IoT security is one of them. And we had received a project proposal from IIT Hyderabad, along with the NCCS, that's the National Center for Communication Security, for coming up with security requirements, or Indian Telecommunication Security Act requirements for even IoT devices. They have actually submitted a project proposal for security requirements for 5G. Around 11 security, 11 functions they have actually given for. And 4 focus areas they've given. And one of the focus areas over a 2-year period, the project is on IoT security, where they said that 2 classes of devices, they would actually come up with the security requirements and the test procedures for that, test specifications and the test procedures for that. So hopefully, so this is one area that is very important, and this is how from our office we are seeing to it that this area gets covered, and hopefully the National Center for Communication Security, along with IIT Hyderabad, would come up with that, and we would have, as Mr. Sharad Arora was saying, that we should have a certification capabilities that should come up in the country, and TEC and NCCS would drive those certification capabilities, build it up in the country. Once that there's an essential requirement that only secure devices are deployed, you'll find a market is there for the certification, testing and certification that will come up, and this should happen. Okay. Then when you talk of the other important area of the security is the data. Now, we have come up with a committee report on non-personal data. Now, IoT devices, we have the PDP bill, the Personal Data Protection Bill, that is there. But more than that, we find that a lot of data is going to be generated out of IoT devices, whether they are deployed in the road transportation sector, or whether deployed in the environmental sector, or whether they're deployed through the medical, in the medical vertical. We'll find a lot of data is going to be generated. The data would be, some of the data would be personally identifiable, but there's a lot of data that would be non-personal data, which could actually be monetized, or I would say that which could be used for the public good. They have come up with certain recommendations. So then in this particular data, we have issues that require to be addressed, specifically regarding, the consent framework. The data, how do you actually, one is that how do you protect this data? And how do you have a consent framework where individual consent, because currently when you talk on data protection and all of that, we have a central authority, who determines the policies for protection of the data. It is the individual customer doesn't have that, fine-grained control mechanism that is there. So we should have come up with this consent mechanism where individual has control, and then he has a consent framework, which also where he can withdraw the consent is one. And then also the consent could also be based on what are the parts of the data, each part of the data having a different level of consent, and for different use cases that is there. So that is one. Then we also have this issue that when we have data, multi-party computation is one area where, I don't want to share my data, but I would like to use my data along with the data of other data from other entities to do a computation, and we are willing to share the output. So multi-party computation is one another area that we have identified. Then to privacy preserving algorithms and differential privacy is another area. So these are all areas. We have a project called the IUDX of the MOUHA, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. For the Smart Cities project, there's a lot of data that's going to be generated from the M2M devices and from other records than municipal records and state government records which are there. Now, the IUDX platform is going to provide a platform for exchange of data seamlessly within a city and across cities also. But over that, we thought that this data now that is available, we should actually provide a privacy preserving and security of this data that should be done. And we've actually worked with MOHA, and they found out that this is one area that work has not really started off. I mean, at least the MOHA was not working on it. And then so we actually had a consultancy project with IISc Bangalore to actually look into that area and come up with area, project proposals for this. So they did work on it, and after a period of 2 or 3 months, they have come up with project proposals, especially for the security and privacy of the data that is generated out of IoTs and smart cities. So where there are some 5 dimensions that they would be covering. The 5 individual projects covering video analytics, data consent, digital enclaves. I mean, the Intel digital enclaves that is there, SGX, secure guard extensions, then multi-party computation and differential privacy. So through this, we want to address in the IoT and smart cities the requirements of the security of data and the privacy of the data, and provide a framework so that data could be used for a public good. So that is another area that that's been covered. So when we so then the other area which Mr. Sushil had brought out, and Mr. Sharodhar Arora had also brought out, was regarding the National Trust Center, for enumeration of all the service providers, applications, and devices. And from here, we feel that it is a very important, it's very important national infrastructure that is to be created. And that national infrastructure is not, that it is specific to DOT or anything like that. And as the speakers have rightly pointed out, it is cross-sectoral, I mean, where all the IoT devices are going to be deployed across all the sectors. They would all become part of a National Trust Center. And we are working on a national cybersecurity strategy for the last 1 year, where we had public consultations and interministerial consultations. It's in the final stages of preparation. The National Trust Center has been made part of the infrastructure creation of the National Cybersecurity Strategy of 2021, and we have invited. Actually, we are very keen that that infrastructure should be created, and we've been working very closely with TEC on that, and we have received some proposals from different entities, and it's a work in progress. And the project proposals have been received, but we're working on that to fine tune it, and then get all the relevant inputs, and then have a proper project proposal, which is when implemented on ground, will address all the concerns that have been raised in today's panel. So these are some important infrastructure projects that we are talking in terms of that we are trying to drive to protect the IoT area. But one of the primary questions that that concerns that comes to us is, are there specific concerns that are there which are specific to security of IoTs, or would you say that security of IoTs per se and security concerns because of IoTs? Many of them have been talked before. So whatever security features that we talk in generally, they are also applicable in the case of IoTs. Of course, we talk in terms of small footprint and the constraints that are there in IoT devices, which have already been talked, and I'll not touch on all of those points there. But there are certain things that are relevant to general cybersecurity, which are relevant here, and there are challenges which are there. One of the points that was brought out is, I think Mr. Sushil pointed it out, regarding secure by design. Now, that is something, we keep talking about secure by design, but how do we ensure that, something is secure by design? How do we ensure that all the organizations follow secure by design principles? And this is something, that when we were talking recently about the ORAN, Open Radio Access Network, where we are actually disaggregating the ORAN architecture into the hardware and software and the different software modules, that secure by design, maybe in a big entity, they would have principles so that they do secure by design. And when we have smaller players who come into the marketplace, like what we were seeing the challenges in the ORAN, and especially in the IoT, when you have many small players who are actually working in this area, how do you enforce the security by design principles across all different organizations? So that's a big challenge. I think as government and industry, we should work together to see that, are there any mechanisms that we can put in place to say that certification schemes for process certification within the organization, certification schemes for post product production, for finding out that secure by design principles are applicable. So this is one area I think that we would also like to work in. We would like to work in. The other area that challenge we have found is when we were talking in IT and OT security. IT security is very mature. I'm not saying that we are all secure in all respects, but IT security, and there's a lot of maturity. In OT security, we find that there are challenges. The understanding is not much. OT security talks of having many places, at least, in terms of having an air gap. But then there has been problems with air gap systems in terms of, patching. How do you have patching and having the latest patch software so that security is ensured? So if you don't have proper patching procedures applicable in OT and air gap system, then internal threats that are there, insider threats which are there, that they become very, very important in that case. So this is another area, and especially with industrial IoT coming along, this is one area where we have to work towards, industrial IoT security. There are some other initiatives that we are taking at the national level to see ensuring the security. One is threat exchange. This will be applicable both for normal IT security and for the IoT security also. We have plans in the National Cybersecurity Strategy for establishing of a national threat exchange. CERT-In already has a threat exchange, but we would like to actually scale it up to the national level so that all entities across the country, are able to exchange the threat information. There's a project that we have funded, and it's been a year since the project has started, for having a national malware repository. So this national malware repository, as of today, we have collected around 70 million malware samples. And the target is that within another couple of months, we'll reach the target of around 100 million malware samples to become number 2 in the world in terms of as a repository of national malware repository. This national malware repository is currently under development in DRDO. And once the platform is ready, we are using it internally ourselves. We would actually open it for use by the academic institutions for access to the malware samples, and then doing malware research to come up with solutions for addressing the infections that are there. So it will also provide an opportunity for for entities to submit the malware samples onto the platform. So that is another one. Then you would also have heard about the National Cyber Coordination Center. So one of the things of ensuring security is at the device level you're doing it, at the system level you're doing it, but at the traffic level, collect traffic and then get a security posture about the country by collecting traffic across the networks, and then also being in a position to anticipate attacks and then mediate and mitigate those attacks. So the National Cyber Coordination Center is it's playing a limited role in the sense that there are around 12 entities that have been onboarded onto that, and we are collecting traffic from those 12 entities and then doing traffic analysis, both net flow traffic, BGP traffic, and doing traffic analysis to find out, make advanced assessment of the threats that are there, and mitigation measures that are there. There is also a proposal in the National Cyber Security Strategy for having a national cyber range. We are also keen on having a cyber range for IoT, so that people could actually get hands-on practice, both for training purposes and also for testing out solutions on this cyber range for any IoT solutions that are there, deployment of IoT devices and then checking of the IoT devices. So these are some of the activities that are happening, and the threat perception is, yes, with the explosive population of IoT devices, and with not really mature production facilities of IoT devices, there's a lot of cybersecurity threat that is there. But yes, we have started working in this direction of trying to address the security issues that are there, and hopefully with the cooperation and support from the industry and from the academia and all the other departments of the Government of India, we should be able to address these challenges. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir, for giving details of the projects going on and how these projects will be helpful in the development of cyber security based solutions in the country. And the malware repository, it's a new name we came to know, and the cyber range for IoT. No doubt we shall try to work on this in collaboration with you. So thank you very much. This is now, can we take the